Jiu-Jitsu. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my career with United Parcel Service started in 1990 over at the San Gabe hub. And I came over to the Ontario hub at the Foothill Center, started driving package in 1994, and then have been in feeder department since 2006.
Nice. And what about Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah. So I'm a Jujitsu Black Belt coming up on 2 years, and it's pretty cool. I love it.
All right. So, Chris, safety message for that younger driver. Let's just say for that younger Chris.
Yeah.
What would you give him?
So if I could go back and give myself some advice, it would be to not get attached emotionally to anything that happens to you on the road, because that'll just throw your focus off. So just focus on what you need to do, and don't let anything distract you. Be aware of your surroundings.
Good advice right there.
Yeah.
Now, Circle of Honor. This is an elite group.
Yeah.
They call it the elite driver.
Do they? Okay.
You're a part of this group now.
Wow.
What does this mean?
You know, I didn't.
You?
Yeah, to me, it's pretty cool. I really didn't think about it much until they were doing the award ceremony and the management was talking to us. And when one of the management team had mentioned, you know, do you realize how many lives that you've actually saved, including myself, by not getting into an accident? That's when I knew that it was actually a pretty big milestone. So the importance of it really set in at that point, and I'm just blessed to be here for sure.
Good. Now, Chris, philosophy.
Yeah.
What type of philosophy does Chris like to live by?
You know, I always live by a philosophy of being humble, grateful, thankful for just every day, because it's not promised, and not getting attached to anything really, just staying in my lane for sure. Yeah.
Really good. Now, passions. What type of passions do you have, Chris?
Wow.
Besides driving?
Yeah, so mixed martial arts has been my passion since I was about 7 years old. Saw my first Bruce Lee movie, and I was hooked, and it was just absolutely amazing. So karate, and then Muay Thai kickboxing, boxing, and then for the last 14 years been straight into Jiu-Jitsu and competing. So that's my passion right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a certain hero?
Yeah. My hero is definitely was Bruce Lee back in the day that got me into mixed martial arts. Still is my hero right now. That guy's an absolute legend for sure. Yeah.
So, do you remember the first time you watched the first movie? Like, who took you?
Yeah. So I begged my mom and dad to take me to go see Enter the Dragon when I was 7 years old, and at that point I was just hooked on Bruce Lee and martial arts, and I had to be that guy. So yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. Now,
to be a black belt and also to be a Circle of Honor, it takes a certain type of discipline.
Yeah, it does.
Is there a correlation between the two?
Absolutely. So since I've been in martial arts for such a long time, the discipline and the focus has always been there. And the same thing actually happens when I'm driving. Whether it was package and then going into feeder, I'm always focused on what I need to accomplish that day. So whatever happened the day before, today's a new day, refocus, learn from yesterday's events, whatever they may be, whether it's somebody cut me off, but it's always that discipline and that focus that gets me, that transitions from mixed martial arts over into driving for feeder.
Oh, that's really good. Now, as far as like complacency,
it
happens to the best of us.
It does.
Has there ever been a time where you've been complacent going into a match?
Absolutely, yeah. So I won 2 world titles in a row. I was going for my 3rd.
Okay.
And I became complacent. So I didn't really think about it too much. I thought I was going to be able to go in there and just wipe the guy out. I underestimated my opponent and overestimated myself. So I completely got smashed. And that really taught me a great lesson that you can't get comfortable on your last win. Every single day is a new day. So don't become complacent. And every single match that I have, I just take it for that day right there. I don't think about anything else. But yeah, there's a big lesson to be learned in being complacent. I would say don't even ever be complacent. Be on your A game, whether it's competing in anything that you do or even driving.
Yes,
for sure. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, as far as having your back against the wall, because I mean, it sounds like you've had a lot of victories.
Yeah.
But have you ever had your back against the wall where you had to respond in certain situations?
Yeah, I think the biggest event was probably my divorce of 21 years, and you know, some things are out of your control, but the only thing that we can do is respond to what we're dealing with at that time, and then it actually goes into who are you as a person when you have your back against the wall. What are you going to do with that? Because we do have choices whether we're going to be upset with the world or we're going to go ahead and embrace it and learn something from what we've gone through. And so I chose the higher road in doing something, working on myself, and being a better person. Whatever those lessons were, I was definitely into learning. Yeah.
So when did you start Jiu-Jitsu?
So I started Jiu-Jitsu 14 years ago, and went into immediately wanted to strengthen my mind, and so I started to compete, and then I started to just focus on that because that was such a positive outlet. And this again was through going through my divorce. That was something that was very necessary to be connected to something positive like that. But it's been 14 years, and I'm coming up on 2 years as a black belt, and then I'll be on my first degree next year.
So how long did it take you to become a black belt?
Yeah, so Jiu-Jitsu Black Belt is probably the most difficult black belt to get because there's so many different moves, counters, submissions. It took me 12 years to actually go ahead and get my black belt.
And how long did it take you to become a Circle of Honor driver?
It took me 25 years, yeah.
Well, a lot of discipline there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so mentors, Chris.
Yeah.
Does Chris have any mentors growing up?
You know, I wish I could say that would have been my mom and my dad, but they were busy with their relationship. So I got kind of lost in the middle of that. So I had to kind of sort of set my own examples and do what I felt was right. Of course, growing up, I made mistakes, but when I had children, I pretty much worked on everything because I had to be their example and their mentor. So you know, some of us don't have what we need growing up, and sometimes we actually go ahead and chase the approval of other people. But if you know what's right and wrong and you do the right thing, I think you're set, not only for your family, but your children, for everybody.
Wow, that's good, Chris. Now, last question. Legacy. How do you want to be remembered when someone hears Chris Lafosse?
Yeah. Great question. You know, we all like nice things, cars, houses, all that kind of stuff. But there's really at the end of the day, there's really no value in that. The value is in living a good life, giving back to your community, just always doing the right thing. I think it's more so, you know, the love and respect and the honor and the dignity that you carry around daily, and the things that you give back to your community. Like I am going ahead and teaching jiu-jitsu right now to kids, which is great. And then in the future, I'll start a nonprofit and start training kids jiu-jitsu for like after school type of thing. So yeah, it's what you give out to people, and not necessarily what I take with me, because you can't take the cars or anything with you, for sure.
I can't help but remember a time you told me that you even like to give back on your birthday.
Yeah. So cool. So when my birthday comes around, I'm better at giving gifts, if anything. So for my wife and my children, I'm taking them out to dinner and I'm giving them individual gifts, which is, I like that. It brings more joy to my life, for sure. Yeah.
Well, there you go. If you like what you heard, leave a like, comment. But thank you very much, Chris, for your time.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you. I'm blessed. Have a blessed day. Thanks.